The headlines: bandits attack Maru local government area of Zamfara and kill 3. Reactions continue to trail Supreme Court's ruling over 2023 presidential election. House of Representatives advocate for stand-alone status for persons with disability. And from the international scene, unidentified drone injures 6 in Egyptian border town. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thank you for joining us, and now the details. We will start with security. Now, bandits have attacked the Nasarawa area in Maru town, the headquarters of Maru local government area of Zamfara state. The bandits in large numbers stormed the area in the early hours on Friday, shooting sporadically to scare the residents. Report says that the troops of Operation Hadarin Daji responded swiftly to a distress call by residents and engaged the terrorists in a heavy gun duel that lasted for over 2 hours. 3 persons were reportedly killed, including an aged man identified as Malam Isa. On Thursday, the defense headquarters said that the troops have eliminated more than 100 terrorists in airstrike carried out by the Nigerian Air Force on the border between Niger and Zamfara state. Security operatives have struggled to end the violence in the northwest, and several peace deals and amnesties with the bandits' militias have failed to work. The Zamfara Police Command spokesperson Yazid Abubakar is yet to comment on the attack. The Taraba State Police Command has confirmed the 6th abduction of persons by suspected kidnappers in the state. The abduction comes barely a few days after the kidnapping of an inspector of police, Emmanuel Yaro, attached to the Kurmi division. Confirming the report, the police public relations officer Abdullahi Usman said they were abducted in the Pupule area of Yoro Local Government Council. He said that the incident happened on Thursday afternoon, stating that the command is leaving no stone unturned to secure the release of the victims. He said the anti-kidnapping and the strike force units of the command, as well as vigilantes, are collaborating with hunters to track down the kidnappers. Residents pleaded with the state government and the security agencies to monitor the local government council, which they said is gradually being taken over by bandits and kidnappers. Earlier, we spoke to Daily Trust reporter in Jalingo, Magaji Hunkuyi. He gives us an update on the incident. Take a listen.
The police population officer just of Taraba State Command, Inspector of Police Usman Abdullahi, just confirmed that 6 persons were abducted at Pufle town in Yoro local government. And that fact, there are a series of abductions across villages and towns in our local government area. But the most areas affected is Low, Hadokola, and part of Bel local government. The town is located along Jalingo Yola Road, but it is in Yoro local government area of the state. Both the police and army are saying they are doing their best to get rid of these criminal elements that are rampaging in the villages and town. It happened 2 days ago, and when, as I said earlier, these bandits are going from one village to another, mostly in the night, and in some cases during the daytime. And they abduct people and take them into the hills and forest. The state is surrounded by mountains and forest. That's why they operate all the time. There's an increase in the activities of bandits across some villages. I can tell you that in Bad local government, over 14 villages were invaded by these bandits, and they abducted a number of people. And in Hadokole alone, about 10 villages were invaded by the bandits, and they took a lot of people. And some of these people they abducted are still in captivity, and some money were paid at ransom, and they were released. The government is doing its best because of recent the government went to some military or permission in Abuja and solicited for assistance. And there was a time when the army and the hunters were deployed to confront these bandits at Garbachi, the area in the local government. And there was a series of confrontation between the army and the hunters against these bandits.
In Katsina, the Nigerian Correctional Center, Katsina State Command, has unveiled and identified the recaptured inmate who earlier escaped from its facility along with one other. This was contained in a statement issued by the Public Relations Officer of the command, ASP Najibullah Idris. Recall that 2 inmates awaiting trial were confirmed to have sneaked out of the correctional center in Katsina, a situation that caused anxiety within and around Katsina metropolis. Trust TV's Abdullahi Yamadi has been following the development and now gives us an update. Take a listen.
Well, the main suspect, Abakala, who was said to have escaped from Katsina Correctional Facility while awaiting trial, has been rearrested. The Katsina State Command of Nigeria Correctional Services, through its Public Relations Officer, ASC Najibullah Idris, has released a statement saying the command, in collaboration with sister security agencies, has rearrested the principal suspect who escaped from its facility in Katsina. However, the statement is not clear about where Abakala was found and rearrested. The statement also added that the command is using e-tracking devices to enable it to recapture the other fleeing suspect. And it could be recalled that even in my first report, the Katsina State Controller of Correctional Services did mention that one suspect was rearrested, but he was not specific on who the recaptured person was. And one obvious thing Katsina residents are waiting for is to see the leadership of the correctional facility parading the rearrested suspect to the press, not just a statement. I have told you there is fear and apprehension among Katsina residents following the sudden escape of the notorious armed robbery kingpin Abakala and one other criminal who happens to be one of the members of his gang. So residents are very anxious to see the recaptured suspect. And already in my first report, like I said, when I interviewed the controller, he promised to adequately brief the press about the situation as it unfolds on a regular basis. So this is what we are just waiting for.
The residents of Yola, the Adamawa state capital, are divided along party lines following the Supreme Court's judgment affirming President Tinubu's victory in the 2023 presidential election. While members of the People's Democratic Party described the Apex Court's verdict as appalling and disappointing to Nigerians, the loyalists of the All Progressive Congress, APC, said that the verdict is a victory for all Nigerians. Silas Lawan has the report.
Reacting shortly after the Supreme Court judgment, some Yola residents said recent development in the nation's judiciary do not affirm the notion that the judiciary is the last hope of the common man. A member of the People's Democratic Party, Yakubu Joda, said Nigerians are still at a loss as to how the Supreme Court condoned the serious issues of forgery, falsehood, and perjury put forth by the petitioners in the case.
Judgment is just a mere rubber stamp rubbish because we don't agree with the judgment. It was not a fair judgment and it is a wrong judgment because there are so many evidences that can disqualify the president, but we know he cannot be disqualified because he has spent a lot to the judiciary, he has spent a lot to the politicians, he has spent a lot to the security. This is for sure. We know that nothing will come out of that judgment, so we expected it.
However, members of the All Progressive Congress welcomed the Supreme Court judgment.
So I think the court has done a lot, and given the state that they have to operate under a difficult atmosphere, it's yet another historic moment for us, and I think we should give the Nigerian judiciary another form of kudos. It was indeed a nice one.
We are very satisfied and happy. But we have to say one or two for him as the president. They have to know that as a president, he's not a president of APC alone. He is a president of any party member in Nigeria, and even people that are not partisan. And he has to be united, both south and east, and make sure he call all these aspirants that they have went to the court together and sat with them and call them so that to support him in making Nigeria forward.
They passionately appeal to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to seriously work on the economy to alleviate the sufferings of Nigerians.
But we hope he is going to change. Now that the judgment is over, he has no distraction now. No distraction at all. He should now consolidate. He should now focus on how to make Nigerians eat at least twice a day. People are going hungry. People are hanging themselves. People are dying of hunger. Small sickness, you go to the hospital, you just die. It's hunger. There is hunger in the country. You should address that. If you address that, the common man has no any problem.
Please, this our government have to look into it. We are buying dollar today 1,250 and still be increasing. So please, I call to the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He has to look for the common man, especially when you come, as I say, about that PMS price and that commodity, day-to-day activities, and this exchange rate. And let him be united, unite all Nigerians, and make sure we go as Nigeria one nation.
With the dust now settled, Nigerians are expectant that the APC-led federal government will focus on fixing the economy and addressing other challenges confronting Nigeria and Nigerians. Salis Lawan, Trust TV News, Yola.
The police in Gombe have paraded the suspected killer of Aisha to Abubakar, a 58-year-old woman who was brutally murdered in Gombe State. The suspect, Mustafa Adamu Isa, has confessed to have acted alone while committing the crime. Trust TV's Ibrahim Ismail reports.
This is Mustafa Adamu Isa, popularly known as Abbati, an 18-year-old suspected killer of Aisha to Abubakar, a resident of Jekadafari in Gombe Metropolis. The suspect allegedly killed the victim on the 20th of October 2023 at her residence in Jekadafari. According to police investigation, the suspect broke into the residence of the victim, who is his neighbor, claiming to be searching for a spanner she seized from him, but allegedly killed her after she asked him to leave.
The suspect mentioned above was arrested on October 22, 2023 at around 01:30 p.m. in connection to the case, following credible intelligence received by the investigative team, which was constituted by DC Operations CP Hayat Usman on behalf of the command.
The 18-year-old, who initially mentioned one Idris Abubakar as his accomplice, later confessed to committing the crime alone.
I really regretted my actions. I couldn't sleep since the incident happened. I am seeking for Allah's guidance.
The command also arrested 8 other suspects over alleged kidnapping, culpable homicide, armed robbery, among others. According to the police, all the suspects will be charged to court. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Gombe.
Experts in Nigeria's town planning sector have said that with the threat of flooding across most states of the Federation, there is a need for an all-inclusive approach to address the menace that is threatening cities and real estate investment in the country. They stated this on a sideline of the National Conference of the Nigerian Institute of Town Planners held in Asaba, the Delta State capital. Trust TV's Jonathan Awanyai has more.
Following the devastating effect of flooding in some parts of the country, Experts urge government at all levels to enforce the law prohibiting the erection of structures along flood plains, urging that if people avoid erosion-prone areas, the global epidemic will be avoided. They opine that proactive measures should be put in place to battle challenges resulting from flooding in the country.
Benue River Niger, let me be specific. If you go to Adamawa, the River Benue, the first incept of rainfall, you discover that the whole river will be what? Filled up because it is highly silted. We need to dredge our major rivers. Forget about the dams. Even our own local dams that we have, all of them are almost filled up with silt.
As the government or you inquire from the planning authority, is there any drainage path within that area? What is the master plan? So that one will be able to guide you that place you should build or you should not build. Then at the same time, when you are constructing your drainage, you should be able to channel it to the government drainage system so that the idea of water being stagnant in your area will not occur.
To come up with a detailed plan for the cities on how to accommodate the excess water from rainfall. The way to do it is either to have conservation sites or to have large drainages that will convey the flood water from the city to the sea. You buy land, the first place to go is either to go to Ministry of Physical Planning. Let them chart that land for you, the survey plan, and tell you the status of the land. By that, you'll be guided whether to buy the land or not.
The flooding issue, normally it is human activities that have caused most of these things. The way we relate with the environment matters so much. By inculcating urban green economy into the concept of addressing most of these issues, the issue of flooding will be drastically reduced.
According to them, effective town planning remains an important tool in mitigating the challenges of flooding. Jonathan Awanyai, Trust TV News, Asaba.
The House of Representatives has called on the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation to create a standalone status for persons with disabilities in every program of the ministry and review the National Social Register to accommodate persons with disability. The House also called on all the state and local governments in Nigeria to include persons with disabilities in every program of the state. This resolution followed a motion of urgent public importance moved by Bashir Dawudu, representing Oshodi Isolo Federal Constituency 1, Lagos State. Dawudu noted that Discrimination Against Persons with Disabilities Act 2018 was assented into law by former President Muhammadu Buhari in 2019.
Also disturbed that most poverty alleviation programs carried out by many states governments excluded persons with disabilities. Further disturbed that the failure to involve persons with disability in the poverty alleviation programs leads to persistent poverty and further widening the socio-economic inequality of Nigeria.
You're watching News Update on Trust TV. Coming up, how school fees hike ignites withdrawal of school pupils in Borno. This and more after the break. Stay with us.
Are you interested in the latest news and developments in Nigerian politics, policy, governance and other critical national issues? Look no further than Daily Politics on Trust TV. Our panel of experts and key people in government provide in-depth analysis and commentary on the biggest stories in Nigerian politics.
And 33.3 million Nigerians are suffering from multidimensional poverty. It's a much calmer Buhari than the Buhari who was in the khaki uniform.
Naira to Naira exchange rate is higher anywhere in the world. The Naira is higher than dollar exchange rate. So you want to...
Since central bank governor you're doing, you must do it fast.
The number of casualties we have had, we shouldn't have had. Security as far as Nigeria is concerned, we have wronged.
From the inner workings of government to the latest on legislation, rule of law, implementation and democracy, we have you covered. Don't miss out on the latest political news and discussion. Tune in to Daily Politics, weekdays on Trust TV. your source for reliable and unbiased coverage of Nigerian politics.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is News Update on Trust TV. Here's a recap of our top stories. Report bandits attack Maru local government area of Zamfara and kill 3. And reactions continue to trail Supreme Court's ruling over 2023 presidential election. The economic hardship experienced in the country has forced some Nigerians to withdraw their wards from school following an increment in fees. Now, Trust TV's Beatrice Kuruti, who spoke to some parents in Maiduguri, said that the current situation in the country is a struggle for survival for them first, while every other thing is secondary. Take a look.
The purpose of being educated is to ensure personal and national development and also make for better citizens in the country. It is also to help people earn a living through decent jobs. Over time, there have been global calls to make education accessible and affordable for children. However, the present economic state of the country and the hike in school fees is making it difficult for some parents to further their children's education. Abiso Marti, a father of 6, says he couldn't afford the reviewed fees and as such decided to withdraw them from school. He stressed that the growing economic hardship leaves him no choice as feeding is becoming difficult for his family.
I
had to withdraw them from school because of the high cost of school fees. We can't pay it. We used the money to feed, and food commodities are very expensive now. They will learn handwork for now until things get better.
I have 2 children who are now staying at home. They cannot even go to public school because of the high cost of living. This sort of palliative they are doing is not even affecting. It's not going direct to the parents. What are they doing to reduce the school fees of the children? It will increase the dropout of our children out of school. We cannot even feed them. Talk less of taking them to school.
Ina da yara ne wanda suke makaranta su guda 6 ne. To school fees nasu ya je 20-something thousand, kaga 20-something.
Their school fees rose from 20,000 naira to over 30,000 naira. So I have to suspend their education for now because I don't make such kind of money at work. The situation is also similar in some unity schools in the country, as some parents admitted that they could not enroll their wards due to the hike of fees.
I have 2 children who are now staying at home. They cannot even go to public school because of the high cost of living.
Abiso and other parents are hoping that one day the economy will change for good to enable their children return to school and have a better future. Beatrice Kuruti, Trust TV News, Maiduguri.
From the international scene, 6 people were injured when a drone crashed early Friday into the Egyptian town of Taba, which borders Israel, a country at war with Palestinian Hamas in the Gaza Strip, the Egyptian army reported. It says that the army spokesperson said that an unidentified drone crashed on the outskirts of a building adjacent to Taba Hospital on Friday, causing 6 minor injuries. Witnesses confirmed to AFP that the projectile had hit a hospital annex in this Red Sea town on the northeastern tip of Sinai, where there is a border crossing with Israel. Images broadcast by the local media and social networks showed a damaged building and several vehicles blown up in the vicinity. The Sinai Desert Peninsula is bordered to the northwest by the Gaza Strip and shares its eastern border with Israel. Egypt, the historic mediator between Palestinians and Israelis, which holds Gaza's only gateway to the world that is not in Israeli hands, has been on the front line since 7th October. On that day, Hamas carried out an unprecedented surprise attack on Israeli soil that has since claimed more than 1,400 lives. In retaliation, Israel is now relentlessly bombing the Gaza Strip, killing around 7,000 people, according to the local authorities. Hamas, which is in power in Gaza, like other Palestinian armed groups, regularly fires barrages of rockets into Israeli territory. And finally, in sports, Nigeria's two-time Champions League winner, Eyimba, were handed what looked like baptism of fire on Thursday in Casablanca in the newly introduced African Football League. The People's Elephants, who lost the first leg of the two-legged encounter by a lone goal, were dreaming of turning the table in the return leg, a dream that was shattered like a pack of cards Thursday night. Wydad Casablanca thus progressed on a 4-0 aggregate, beating the Aba landlords home and away. Ayoub El Amloud gave Wydad the lead on 4 minutes after he was set up by Yahya Jabrani. The home team doubled their advantage 6 minutes before break through Jamal Harkas. Yahya Atiyat Allah netted the third in the 44th minute, and Wydad will face Esperance of Tunisia in the semi-final. From all indications, the Eyimba were completely outplayed, going down by 3. And with that, we wrap up news updates on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms and join our YouTube live stream for more news, programs and documentaries. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thanks for watching.